They're big four on offense and 78 points in the paint. Before we get our comments, we are going to go to the star of the night, LeBron James at Staples with Mike Trudell.
LeBron, you've been in thousands of moments like this down the stretch. What's the key just on both ends of the floor when things get tight like that?
Just composure. You know, when you put yourself in that position, a lot of times you know how to handle it when it's upon you. And it was my job in the fourth quarter to bring us home, make plays, and for the grace of the man above, I was able to do that.
I mean, you were really leading the way with the passing early. Went to the scoring down the stretch there, 16 or your 30. What were you seeing with the defense to go like that?
You know, it's all about reading, reacting. Stepped up the defense in the first half to be able to exploit them in the second half. So they seen I was passing the ball a lot in the first half. So it opened up a lot of lanes for me in the fourth quarter or in the second half, and I was able to exploit that.
What are you learning so far about playing with Russell Westbrook?
About myself, about the team?
Just for both, the way that you guys combine and play with the team.
We are a resilient group to start early on. You know, we've had some adversity to start this season already, and feel like we've matched it. We want to continue to build off what we've done over the last week or so, 2 weeks. And if we do that, we give ourselves a good chance to be better and better each month. But it's all about the process and not getting too high, not getting too low, staying even keel, and getting better and learning from our mistakes, learning from some of the good things that we do as well.
Last thing for you, just with Russell Westbrook specifically, LeBron, what are you seeing with him?
Get more and more comfortable. You know, it's always challenging going to a new system, to a new team, to a new group of guys. You always try to see yourself fitting in. But when you're a special player, you got to fit out, you know. And Russ is a special player, and he's being himself over the last few weeks. And we need that. We need the attacking, down the hill, most explosive point guard, you know, NBA history with him and D Rose. And we need that. So he's been bringing that, and we love to see it.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to get to LeBron James in a few moments and talk about him and the big three, their best offensive game together. But let's get your comments first just on the overall game. Fish, I'll start with you. 23 fast break points, 78 points in the paint, season high. They've turned the Rockets over 52 times in the last few days, but still that one came down to the wire, and Houston did have a chance to win. Not their best defensive performance.
Yeah, not their best defensive performance against a really young team that, you know, some self-inflicted, you know, wounds and turnovers that the Rockets made. But after giving up 70 points in the first half, the Rockets only scored 47 points in the second half. And so it's going to sound like a broken record, but that is the only recipe for success with this team. Right now, they don't shoot it well enough from long distances to get into offensive battles against teams. So they're going to have to be a team that can hold teams to 100 or less, score 110, and walk away with the game. It starts getting into 120, 125. I don't know if that's the way the Lakers want to win games this year.
Yeah, I mean, look, you don't want to give up 35 points in 2 quarters, but, you know, you want to take your hat off to something that was 19 points, as Fish said, and the third was something they need to concentrate on out of the 4 quarters that they had. They can concentrate on that. I thought, you know, they did some good things. Like you said, Gita, they dominated in the paint when they needed to. The Rockets turned the ball over more than the Lakers did, but the Rockets scored more points off the Lakers' turnovers. So that was something they needed to take a look at. I think they scored 26 points off the Lakers' turnovers.
16 threes.
Yeah.
Also, they hit.
Yeah, it's you know, it's work in progress still, but you know, you want to hang your hat on the defense in the third.
Yeah, you know, a couple things. First of all, the Lakers' pace is outstanding. I mean, they're fun to watch on offense. They're really cruising the ball up and down the court. The problem is if you don't get back on defense, and we saw a lot of that, especially in that first half. This team should not be scoring 70 points in the first half. All right, they were 26th in the league in points coming into tonight, but that's a product of you're almost outrunning your defense. You're so fast on offense. One player in particular, Russell Westbrook, he's bringing that attitude to this team. Fun to watch, but you got to get back on defense. You got to put teams like this away a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it's also just being connected and being engaged on that end of the floor, right? In that first half, you're playing a Rockets team you blew out the night before and a couple nights before. So, listen, the big three, Brez, we've talked a lot about them. By far, their best offensive night together?
For sure.
Would you say?
Absolutely. I mean, look at the numbers, 30, 27, and 27. It doesn't get much more balanced than that. The thing I like also about Russ really aggressive with his shot. In that last game against Houston a couple days ago, he had 1 free throw. You know, that's not the Russ Westbrook style of play. Much more assertive tonight, going heavy to the basket. AD did what he had to do as well against a very undersized and inexperienced Houston front court, especially with no Daniel Tice in there. And LeBron, what more can you say about him? He really got going in that fourth quarter.
He really did. James, real quick on the big three, because I do want to talk about that fourth quarter. Well, you know what? Let's get there now. So LeBron's fourth quarter, 14 in the fourth big game, James, and he had that look. He had that motor. He was going downhill, hitting the fadeaway. He had it all.
Well, you know, I was going to talk about Westbrook, what a threat he is, one-on-one, taking people all the way to the cup and going downhill. LeBron actually was on fire tonight. Whoever was in front of him, able to absorb the contact and finish at the rim. He had the outside shots when he wanted it, but that's not what he was looking for when he needed to score some points. He was trying to get the 2 and the old-fashioned 3 if he could. So very aggressive play. He and Westbrook are going to be hard to deal with if they can continue to collapse defenses like they're doing.
Yeah, and I thought LeBron played chess tonight with the Rockets defensively. Early in this game, he was assertive offensively. Like he wanted to show tonight that anybody questioning whether or not I was going to play, I'm here to play. Really good first half. And then in the third quarter, he really kind of took a step back. I think he only attempted 1 field goal in the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, he stepped on the gas again. And it's really difficult mentally, more even than physically, to play that way. But he's still able to keep himself focused throughout the course of a game.
Something you picked up when we were watching, you talk about playing chess. The young Rockets were picking him up way too high.
Yeah.
And that is just not the way to play LeBron James.
No.
Because he got going downhill, and they had absolutely no answer.
Yeah,
and once he's going, it's over.
Not at all. If your shell has to be really, really tight when you play against LeBron, similar to Giannis and other guys that are great getting downhill. If you don't have a tight wall and shell defense, they're going to carve you up. The Lakers don't shoot the 3 well enough to not have shown LeBron more crowd. They were 6 for 25 from 3 tonight. But just things that, you know, young players, they were fired up tonight. They thought they had a chance to beat the Lakers. They're picking